Congressman Mike Waltz joins us now. He is a member of the House Armed Services Committee. Congressman, the president says, welcome to NATO, to Zelensky, but you join later. And he gives them $3.8 billion worth of extra weapons. What do you say to that?
Well, I think for a change, the administration made the right call on, now's not the right time for Ukraine to come into NATO. Number one, it would directly put us in the war. Number two, I am not for expanding NATO any further until the current NATO members do pay up. Right now, we're sitting at 9 out of 32 NATO members are living up to their decades-old commitment for 2% of their GDP, and I'm sick and tired of the American taxpayer subsidizing European defense. We pay for their defense, they pay for their goody social programs. It's unfair and it's wrong. So I think that's the right call, at least for now.
Well, President Trump demanded that they pay up, and forever after, of course, they don't like.
And they actually started to under him. They actually started to.
That was a real success for the president, in my opinion. What about cluster bombs? Do you support sending them to Ukraine?
Well, look, as long as Russia's using them with a 30% dud rate, we're talking about 1%. I don't have as much of an issue of it. Actually, in the Trump administration, the irony is that Trump kept them, and all of the Obama people that are now the Biden people were beating him up for it. And now they've totally switched their tune. So typical hypocrisy in D.C. But at the end of the day, what I think President Trump is getting at is, what is this war? How does this end? Right? We cannot completely exhaust our ammunition stocks. Yet one of the ways it could end, Stu, is let's drive down the price of oil and gas. Let's release American energy reserves, and let's starve Putin of his ability to fund the war rather than working against ourselves, which is what this administration's doing.
But you want to avoid involvement in a long, endless, costly war. That's your position.
That is my position, but it is also my position the way to keep U.S. troops out of it is to allow the Ukrainians to stop Russia before Russia hits a NATO country.
Got it. Change the subject for a second. The nominee for Joint Chiefs of Staff Chair, General Charles Brown, he was pressed on transgenderism in the military. Listen to this, please. Roll it.
A young woman in the South Dakota National Guard experienced a situation at basic training where she was sleeping in open bays and showering with biological males who had not had gender reassignment surgery. How do you propose to handle situations like this, which I truly believe may be impacting recruitment and morale by placing a disproportionate emphasis on gender-related ideology?
Senator, one of the things I've thought about throughout my career, as you're being inclusive, you also don't want to make other individuals uncomfortable.
Okay, Congressman, that was an interesting and diplomatic answer. Sounded kind of measured, not totally woke. What say you?
Well, but by the way, he was chief of the or currently is chief of the Air Force, putting these policies in place. And it's not just, an 18-year-old girl who doesn't want to shower next to a man, but it's also parents and their influencers who don't want their daughters joining a military where not only are they uncomfortable and put in these situations, they really don't have an avenue through their chain of command to say, whoa, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. So this kind of headlong push towards inclusivity for transgenderism is making a lot of the rest of the military uncomfortable, one, and then two, I can't get any data from the military on how many people like this are there, how many people are trying to join the Navy that are transgender and get uncomfortable, so much so that we have to have a transgender digital ambassador? And what are the costs and the effects of that on recruiting? We can't get any data from the Pentagon, and I wish the media would keep asking.
I will keep asking. That's a promise. Congressman, thanks very much for joining us. I'll see you again soon. Thanks, sir.
Thanks.